Howdy toddy Rebel fans, welcome to episode 22 of the Rebel Nation Conversation. I am Umrebelfan69, my co-host over there is the Themetalreb. Together we make up the Rebel Nation Conversation podcast. Your one-stop shop for uninformed and non-expert Ole Miss sports conversation.
Unsullied by sponsorship since 2025.
That's right, guys. And as usual, if you're watching us already on the YouTube channel, then you know exactly where to be. But those catching on TikTok, be sure to click the link up there. You see flashing only on the TikTok above me there. That's our take you to our YouTube channel, and that's located at youtube.com/at the RN Convo. Again, folks, we welcome back Mr. Dump Schaefer from down on the Kill, Mississippi. He is now the first two-time guest host for the RNC. How you doing today, Mr. Dump?
Doing great. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you, man. And better have things over in Columbia today.
Just coming at you from an undisclosed location in the woods of Marion County. Beautiful day today. It's gorgeous. Took the dogs out earlier, and man, it's nice out.
Yeah. Beautiful day. Dump, you should be down there close to your mother-in-law's right now, man. The Pirates having Kelsey's birthday party today, man. They all jam sessioning over there. These people won't even know their names by 6 o'clock. All right, guys. As usual, we're going to start that with the Ole Miss news, and we're going to start with football, as usual. Tamper-Gate kind of popped back up this week a little bit, but nothing real new other than the NCAA has just kind of announced that they plan to aggressively pursue tampering violators and impose significant penalties. If I could get this one up real quick, I'm going to share something. This was a Ross Dillinger tweet. Let's see here. Remember, Ross Dellinger tweet, in which it said, communications of any kind are not permitted with a student athlete at another school or any other representatives of their interest, including agents, before the student athlete enters the NCAA transfer portal. If a coach is contacted by an agent of a student athlete who is not in the transfer portal, any further continuation of that discussion is considered a rules violation, and that includes a coach or a booster expressing interest in or suggesting the possibility of a roster spot opening for a student athlete should the individual enter the transfer portal. Guys, this sounds like a lot of, to me, kind of like the NCAA saying, man, put a little buffer in between you and the head coach don't need to be contacted, you know? What y'all thinking? I mean, I don't think they can go back, and they're not going to go back on Ole Miss and do some sort of ex post facto, enforcement of a new rule, or new penalties. What y'all thinking?
I mean, we hope not, but I saw where our friend Rose Bowl posed a question on their site, wondering if Ole Miss was going to fire Pete Golding for cause. Did you see that?
I thought Colonel Kang was the one that was. No, I haven't saw that. There ain't no way. Again, they'd have to go back. They'd have to make new penalties, and then impose the new penalties on an old infraction. That's ex post facto. Yeah. No way that they can do that.
Well, then they drag 50 other schools in it.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing. If they tried to do that right now, we're going to put them back in court again.
Well, absolutely.
Because that's selective governing, and also, again, the use of and there ain't no court of law going to impose ex post facto penalties. I just don't see that coming.
Well, it's like I said a week or two ago. We were talking about this, and It just feels like that maybe the NCAA has got one last fight in them, one last stand. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they bring out the big guns, man, give everything they got and just try to. I'm sure they don't want to go out with a whimper. So who knows, man? I tell you what, I don't put nothing past them. I don't put nothing past. I know you don't think they've got any teeth anymore, but I still think if they were motivated enough, they could still hurt us, man.
They could hurt a lot of people.
Yeah,
They need to do something, and that's, I mean, in my opinion, something has to be done. There needs to be some, a clear set of ground rules going forward, but they can't retroactive all that. Like I say, there'd be 20, 40, 50 schools that
yeah.
they'd have to go after. And 5 or 6 right there with us on this latest, stuff that's going on. So I don't see them doing any retroactive stuff, but there's got to be something done. I mean, across the board. But it's got to be written ground rules.
Well, as it is right now, there are, penalties in place for tampering. Again, it's a 1-game suspension or something for the coach, maybe a visit or an evaluation day, something like that. But I mean, and again, they take away a scholarship. I don't give a crap, because these kids don't give 2 shits about scholarships now anyway. But they can't come out here with some new penalties now with teeth in them and then apply it to an old infraction. That's what I'm saying. That's the way I feel.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think they can't reach back in time and, enforce a rule that just came out. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just kind of jaded from years past of Ole Miss and NCAA experiences. It usually does not end well for us.
No. But that's also back before, they decided to start taking. Here's the thing, guys. They're losing in court cases. And they know that wouldn't hold up in court. Any kind of a retro apply of new penalties to an old infraction would not stand up in court. It just wouldn't.
No.
And they're, I honestly think the NCAA somewhat gets a little bit of a bad rap. I mean, the problem being is that you take to me, the Trinidad case. Yeah, we won that case, but we should have won that case. But they've won the ones they should have won. They should have won Bediaco. They should have won the Joey Aguilar, and they've won both of those. But Trinidad had a good case. So, or at least that's the way I feel about it. But they're going to lose in court if they try to retroact their penalties.
I saw an article last week where this guy, and I can't even remember who it was. I meant to send it to you and forgot. But this guy was saying that the Joey Aguilar Trinidad Chambliss cases were very similar. But that's not accurate. That's not true at all.
Not a bit.
And it's not even the same galaxy. But for those uninformed, that's what they see. They look at these 2 cases and say, "Well, Ole Miss got theirs, Tennessee didn't get theirs." But it's not apples to apples.
Nope. Well, kind of moving on to my next topic there that I had up was, all right, we remember for like the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about the loophole that was in place that Tyler Siskey's brought to everyone's deal about, even though the transfer portal was closed, that a player could still transfer at the end of the school semester by just unenrolling at his present and then enrolling at a new school, doing this all on his own. Well, the NCAA this past week just kind of came out with some new rules. These are proposed rules. They hadn't been adopted yet. I may pop them up on the screen real quick. And these would seemingly close that loophole. And this is what happens if a school were to add a player outside of the portal window. This is what they could do. And these are pretty significant, man. The head coach would be prohibited from all football, recruiting, and on-field coaching and administrative duties, such as team meetings, through the sixth contest of the season. The school would be fined 20% of its football budget, and the school would be required to reduce the number of roster spots by 5 for the next season, regardless of the head coach's employment status at that school. Those are pretty significant.
Very stiff penalties.
And
So they're saying, what would you have to do exactly to have that penalty imposed?
But any player decide to
add any player to your roster
outside of the portal window. The portal window has closed, and you can that would keep that player can still unenroll and try to enroll at your school, but if you put him on your roster, they can impose these penalties.
So, do you think it's going to pass?
Well, it's a member schools, right? The NCAA is made up of the schools, of us. We're part of the NCAA. I do think this will pass.
Yeah, so.
I do. I do think this will pass.
Well, I think I like it.
Or some form of it, because that closes that loophole.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But right, as of this year, though, that will not be in place by then. I think the rules committee, I think they vote in June, or is it July or something like that when they go in there. And so this will not be in place come this May. And that means this could still, Tyler Siskey is still adamant that come May, there's going to be a lot of people still leaving. But yeah, I like this rule. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, does that apply for walk-ons, or you have to be if you're not playing in another school or something? Let's just say that, some kid.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming there would have to be a lot of clarification made when it comes to like walk-ons and stuff. But again, if this player was playing,
I mean, not that you
let's
got
say
walk-ons,
well, most walk-ons are invited. They have to be, invited, and there's a walk-on window, isn't there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm sure there will be. But obviously, let's just say a player's playing at, let's say at Clemson. And then all of a sudden he just unenrolls in May and then enrolls at Ole Miss and joins our deal. Whether he calls himself a walk-on or not, that's not going to, I'm sure these penalties will be able to apply at that point. And
well,
I
not
think
only that, I mean, if you do that, then that means he's taking somebody's scholarship. Because I don't see a walk-on doing that. So if it's a scholarship kid, he's got to take somebody's scholarship. So you're having to dismiss somebody or knock them back to make room for that guy.
Here's one thing I also that school would be fined 20% of its football budget. That's not rev share budget. Total budget. If your football, let's take like I forgot what the number is for like Texas, but let's just say it's $100 million. That's their total football budget for the year. They're fined $20 million for adding a player.
That is crazy. That's a lot of money.
That's significant. That's significant.
Well, I mean, I mean, the rules are good. They just have to put rules down, number 1, 2, 3. This is what's going to happen from now on, and then you won't have all this crap.
Yeah.
And
well, the main thing, though, is we all got to agree to abide by them. But there's going to be ways to go around this. If we don't all agree, we're going to abide by this. And then abide that, I guess we all got to also agree that they've got, how to put this, that they have the right to govern us on this.
And they should.
No, as I'm saying, they're losing cases in court. That's the That's the reason people are going on. But get a chance there. Maybe I think it was a show from Wednesday because of the UFL season and all that getting started. Tyler's not, they're kind of out of whack with when they do their McCready and Siskey. I think it's Wednesday that they recorded last. Watch that one, and I'm not going to bring it up here because I'm not going to steal their content, but they had a really neat way to try to get around this losing your coach for 6 months stuff and all that. So it's kind of a neat take on it. A few more rules. Did you see any of these other rules they talking about adopting this year? And all these I think will be caught too. I think they actually did vote on this one. They have eliminated the annual limit of official visits, which was capped at 70. But they've eliminated, now it's unlimited. You can have as many official visits in a year, in a recruiting cycle as you want.
Wonder how significant that is.
I don't think it's none at all. I believe it's none. I don't even think it's recruiting visits are almost nil right now anyway. I mean, as far as, to me, it's all about getting kids out of the portal and, I don't know. We still recruit some out of high school, obviously, but that's when it matters. And I don't even know if we can get enough.
Yeah. The visit don't matter nearly as much as how many commas is on your check. That's
zeros to the left of the decimal. Yeah. Yep. Also, this one I did like, and I hope it passes a lot. Changes are coming to they're discussing amending the targeting rule. More specifically on the suspension after the penalty. So in other words, they can still throw the flag, they'll review it. If it is deemed is targeting, well, there'll be a 15-yard personal foul targeting penalty, but the player does not get suspended from the game. Probably a lot like unsportsmanlike. If he gets another one, he would be ejected at that point. I'm just guessing on that, I'm assuming. And you wouldn't lose him for the next game type, for a quarter or half of the next game either. I hate the targeting rule.
So the difference is if a kid, like if it is targeting, the guy still gets to play. That's the change.
Right. And this is what I hope they'll do. Is something similar to basketball with the flagrant 1, flagrant 2s. If it's a true, this guy's spearing that guy trying to hurt him, and you can kind of tell, let's get him out of there. He's ejected. I'd like to see them put some sort of levels into it. I mean, because you can look at it when you go on. It's a reviewable penalty. So
but that's still going to be a judgment called by the official, But so be it.
I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah, 3/4 of those calls, though. I mean, it's bam, bam, and them guys don't have time to react. You can look at it and tell,
Yeah.
To me, 3/4 of the calls are initiated basically by the offensive player. He lowers his head, but he can do it, and the other guy can't.
And he can't pull up, or whatever,
Right.
But there's, the poor defensive guy gets a bad rap a lot of times,
Yeah, that's why I've always hated that rule. Like, what is the guy supposed to do?
Yeah, where are you supposed to stick that helmet?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going 100 miles an hour,
Have you ever seen it called on offense?
No.
No, it's just a defensive penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always hated the rule. Gosh dang, his name escapes me now, but I promise you, my walking, talking Ole Miss encyclopedia there, Themetalreb, and remember the headhunter little defenseman we had there. Remember he got called for targeting against Manziel, didn't he? And then we missed him for the first quarter against Texas the next week, and he was a headhunter. I can't remember his name. Kind of
Trey
a short
Elston.
guy. Trey Elston, yes. Since I've seen how they called that on him, because if he'd have pulled up, then Manziel would have not ran out of bounds and would have went on. But they called targeting somehow. I can't remember the play on how it went.
No, what
And
happened was they had called targeting on him the week before.
that's right. Yeah. And we
So
didn't
he
have
set
any, I
out
guess.
the second half of that game and set out the first half of the A&M game. And so when he had a chance to make a play on Manziel on the sideline,
He let him
he
go.
didn't. He let him go because he was afraid of getting thrown out of the game again.
Yep. That was exactly right. And I mean, it's a bad penalty because even the one that got him the targeting penalty, I just didn't agree with that being targeting. I mean, people can say that's because I got red and blue goggles on, but
No,
a
the
lot of
penalty
times
was against. We were playing UTEP, Texas El Paso, and coached by one Mike Price, who was briefly the coach at the University of Alabama. But yeah,
never
that
coached
I
it down.
remember that play like it was yesterday. I was working in the oil field at the time, and I was watching it on TV in the shack, and it was a pass in the end zone, and Elston lit that dude up, and just a great football play. Targeting, he's out.
Yep. Yeah, I just hated that rule since its inception.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see that one. Moving on along, Dump. One thing that you probably, if you didn't watch last week's episode, as a podcast, as our little group, we decided to adopt the Birmingham Stallions as our official UFL team because Matt Corral is the quarterback and Snoop Connor is one of the running backs, as well as Tyler Siskey, who coached at Ole Miss twice. He's the offensive coordinator as well for them. So, and he lives in Oxford. His son goes to, and you'll hear me just reference a lot of his stuff. I watch a lot of his podcasting and stuff. So, but anyway, so kind of just to still have something to discuss football-wise, we're going to go over this. And since they don't start till March 27th, their first game, thought I'd go over, last week I kind of said a few rule changes. Metal, you brought up, did they play on the same field? Remember? Yes, that? They do. They play on exactly the same field. No difference in size like in the CFL. But here's something else. They play by the college rule on complete passes. 1 foot in bounds is all you're going to need. Here's something I think you think is good, though. After a touchdown is scored, the team has 3 options. They could take a 1 point extra point kick from the 33-yard line. Or they can have a 2-point conversion into the end zone with the line of scrimmage being the 2-yard line. Or they can do a 3-point conversion into the end zone with the line of scrimmage being the 8-yard line. One play going in.
A 3-point play.
Yep, after a touchdown. This is all your points after touchdowns. There's your 3 options after you score a touchdown to add your points after. Whether it's a point, 2 points, or 3 points.
How often do you think our old coach would have gone for the 3-point play? Yeah.
Well, if you're down by 2 and you need to win, you know what I mean. That's where it just gives you some options if you score late.
That's not a choice. You have to. That dude would have done it in the first quarter with 11 minutes left. You know.
Yeah, that may be where he's coaching in a couple of years when he leaves as president.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll be here for it. I know that.
Yep. But here's the surefire way for us to disown the Birmingham Stallions is for this. That's where he goes to coach. Not a fan of him.
No kidding.
But they also have another rule in here I thought you might find interesting. And Kiffin himself would love this one too. double forward passes are allowed as long as the first pass in the sequence is not thrown across the line of scrimmage.
I like
So
that.
you can throw it forward,
he would
and then
use
throw
that
it forward
one too.
again. Yep.
That sounds like something old brother Hugh would love.
Yeah.
You know, he liked that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trick plays when you really didn't need them either.
Yeah, he loved that kind of stuff.
Well, you better make sure you know where you're on the field. Don't be running a couple of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of daggum stuff out there. This is some weird stuff there, Dump. I brought it up last week when we talked about it. If you've crossed the 50 and you're outside of the 2 minutes warning, you can't punt. You got to go for it. So that's, Metal was already bringing up.
Yeah. If you start a series of downs beyond the 50-yard line, you can't punt. So if you're at the 48-yard line of your opponent, 1st and 10, and you take 2 sacks or have a penalty or whatever, and you're looking at 4th and 37 from your own 28-yard line, you got to go for it.
You got to go for it because the line to gain is the 38 on the plus side.
Also, you cannot take a penalty to push you across the 50-yard line, which would enable you to punt the ball. So no matter what happens after that, if you've got first down across the 50, you don't get to punt on that drive.
As long as it's not inside the 2 minutes. Inside 2 minutes, you can punt anytime you want to.
You can punt.
Here's one thing they brought up the other day that I thought was cool on that note. Think about if you're the team on defense, and it's right before, it's 4th down, and it's right before the 2 minute warning, call timeout.
Yeah.
It's a good time to take timeout because now you're making them go.
Make them go, yeah.
You're going to make them go for it. If you let it get to 2 minute warning, they've got the choice at that time.
Yeah.
So just a few different rules.
Well, you better have a guy with a clipboard with all the rules on it on the sideline standing right by you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the league's been around for a few years, right? So just now though, McCarron, AJ McCarron's the head coach, and Tyler Siskey is his OC over there. I'm afraid these guys are first time coaches in the league. They might need some help for damn sure. I know I would. I know I would. But I'm open, Joe. I think that first game on March 27th is a Friday night. It's televised on Fox. I believe I'm going to try to watch that game. They're playing the Louisville Kings.
What's the date on that?
March 27th.
March 27th.
Friday night game on Fox.
Yeah, I'll tune into that. I've tried to watch it in the past, but now we've kind of got a little vested interest.
Yeah.
I think it'll make it a little better.
All right, guys. Well, that kind of wraps up anything I had to bring up about football, unless y'all got something.
No.
Well, let's just move on along to one bright, shining little spot for this weekend. Basketball. Men's basketball ran that losing streak up to 10 games with a loss to LSU last week, but then finally stopped the skid yesterday with a win over Auburn at Auburn, a rare road win. LSU game was 106-99, and it was a double overtime game. But Ole Miss beat Auburn yesterday in Auburn, 85-79. I know that makes you probably ruined Auburn's chances there to make the tournament. They were a bubble team from what I could read on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. That is a bad loss for Auburn. That's a bad loss for Auburn. You're on your home floor. You're playing against a not good team. I mean, 10 losses in a row. You're still fighting for survival. That's a bad loss for Auburn. And the young freshman, Pat Pinkins, man, I'm really excited about him. If we somehow figure out a way to keep him on the roster, he's going to be fun to watch next year. 26 points.
Yeah, didn't who was the other one have? There was two that had 26 points.
AJ.
I read. Yep.
AJ
Yep.
Store.
Yep.
Yeah, he had 26. He's played pretty well this year, man. It's been overshadowed a lot by this overall just shittiness of the team, but he's played pretty good, man. He's been pretty consistent. The biggest disappointment in my mind is going to be Dia. Carmerdine, whatever, running a close second, but
I seen where he got another year of eligibility granted to him.
yeah, I saw that. Who cares?
What did we
That guy
pay for
ain't
him?
it. That guy ain't it. I don't know what we paid for him. Too much, whatever it was. But that guy ain't it. He's too slow for the SEC.
Well,
He's too slow. But Patton
well, if
Pinkins
Beard,
is a real one. Yes, sir. Patton Pinkins is a real one. So, man, I hope we can somehow keep him on lock. And we got a good advantage with his dad being a coach on the team. You know,
yeah.
I hope that's an advantage. But yeah, I hope we let Carmerdine go. He can't help us.
Thoughts on Beard?
My thoughts on Chris Beard. If I know anything about Chris Beard, if I've learned anything about the man, I don't think he wants to leave on this kind of note. I just think he's more of a competitor than that. If the right offer comes along, he's gone. But I don't believe he's just going to be scrambling to get out of here and just take anything. My fear with Chris Beard is what I told you a few weeks ago when we first started this tumble. Man, he's made the tournament one time in the NIL portal era. That's
Technically.
that's not an opinion, technically. Yeah,
Yeah, because he probably would have made it that year with Texas, but he got
he
fired.
would have,
So,
but he didn't. So that gives that's worrisome. I don't know if the Iron Fist coaches can get it done anymore, man.
definitely a different time, that's for sure. Of course, you
Your
saw
kids
I
are
allowed my
18, 19 years old, and they're coming in, and instead of looking up to you like a father figure or with awe and reverence, they're sitting there thinking about getting back out to their Lamborghini so they can go spend some of that money they're making. Everything's different. Everything's different. And
I,
it's changing the mentality of these kids, man.
yeah.
Why would they want
No,
to get in the mud and work and
well, no, me and you picked the wrong professions, huh? I mean, we get 1 year of college basketball, man. We might could retire.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll stay. I think they just missed this one really bad. This portal. They just didn't evaluate it very well. And
Definitely.
I'm kind of the. I mean, I keep up with the basketball, but I'm not like Metal Reb, obviously. But so I don't know a whole lot. But these kids never gelled together. They just they weren't.
Zero chemistry is what Metal said, and it's such a
Zero.
sport that relies on it.
They didn't have any fire in their ass, it seemed like. I mean, I don't know, and that's kind of odd from what I know about Beard. I mean, last year, man, he had them fired up. They were, he could get it going,
Zero chemistry, and basketball is a sport where you can have one guy who doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but it is such a key role to your team, and a glue guy. And we ain't had that this year. We haven't had a glue guy.
Like Morrell.
We don't have a shooter either, from what I understand.
Yeah, we don't have a shooter. Who was supposed to be our shooter, Travis Perry, has been a bust of epic proportions.
That's the kid out of
Like
Kentucky.
Padula was.
That's the kid out of Kentucky, and I don't know the exact number, but from what I understand, he got paid. And he's averaging, man, I bet that kid's averaging less than 5 points a game. Terrible. What do y'all think about what I said about Beard maybe not being able to coach in this era?
Me personally, I feel like he's young enough to adapt, but Willie, because he's come from that
Is he willing
Bobby Knight
to adapt?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Willie, because he come from the Bobby Knight coaching tree.
Yeah, I said he was basketball's Dabo. I said that. And until he proves otherwise to me, that's the way it feels to me. That's the way it feels to me. I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I want to be wrong. I want him to stay here, and I want him to win.
I think they tried in the portal. I think they just misevaluated stuff. I don't think
they just missed.
I don't think he's as bad as Dabo. No, I think they really tried this year. Hell, they spent 3 months trying to get that Carmerdine or whatever his name is out of France in here, and
yeah.
I mean they went to the portal. I mean they picked up 4 or 5 guys.
And they spent. I've seen some reports close to $10 million on this roster. If that was true or not, I mean, we're definitely not the bottom of the barrel.
I bet it's true. I bet it's true. They no telling what we paid Dia. Well, Dia was a sought after player after last year. He produced well. He played well in the NCAA tournament. He's a big body, 6'9", can shoot. A lot of teams wanted Malik Dia, and we held on to him. And he didn't stick around just because he loves Ole Miss and Oxford.
Yeah.
Put some commas in that check. So I don't know what the total number is, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we spent $10 million on that team. That seems to be the number most people keep spitting out on the boards and everything. So maybe there's some validity to it.
Yeah, that's what I feel, dude. Women's basketball. Lady Rebs are now 8-6. I may have had that wrong, but they went on their own little skid here themselves. I think they went to on 5-game skid now.
Yep, and down by 6 in the fourth quarter to Texas A&M. Ain't looking good.
Yeah. Though, that whole little sequence of things started at her after Winter Storm Farm. Kind of had to rearrange all the schedule there and then play those games back to back to back against highly ranked teams. I mean, it just it seems like they just lost their fire after losing LSU.
Yeah.
We beat Tennessee. Thought we were, really doing good, but then again had to turn right around 2 days later and play LSU. And then South Carolina, a few days after that, 3 days after that. I mean, their legs. I mean, they ain't got no legs under them anymore.
Yeah.
So it just,
I don't know what happened, man. The LSU South Carolina losses, that's understandable. There's no shame in that. But man, we had LSU beat, and losing that game in that fashion, it's just like it took it out of them. Just took it out of them.
So anyway, I feel like they'll make that. Well, they'll make the tournament here. But they're going to be obviously a road team. They ain't going to be able to host. And
Well, maybe
that's the way they did it last year. We did that last year.
You know,
So
need to get rested up and get a little change of pace or something. You know.
yeah. They need some rest. We got the SEC tournament coming up. Today's the last game of the season for them against A&M. So,
The men's got Vanderbilt and South Carolina this week, both at home. If anybody cares.
yeah, Vanderbilt coming in Tuesday night. They're the 25th ranked team in the nation, and then next Saturday ends it up against South Carolina. And anyway, yeah, obviously all we can do now is play spoiler.
Yeah.
Which we did some of that yesterday.
Yeah, we did last night for sure.
Again, there's still a route, and that route is a Miracle in Nashville. Music City Miracle is what it'll take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's pretty much all I got for episode 22. We're going to skip right on into episode 23 right after this, guys. But for right now, y'all got anything else y'all want to add in on this one? Before we
Just
break?
good to have Dump again with us. I always enjoy him being here, and glad he's here, and hope he continues to visit with us from time to time.
Oh man, I enjoy it. Love to be here. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Again, that's all we got for episode 22. If you like what we're putting out there, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, comment. Let us know what we can do better. Stand by for episode 23. Dump's going to hang out around here with us again. We're going to go over some Rebel baseball. And it will be coming up right behind this one. This one here is going to drop on Monday morning at 8 a.m. And then episode 23 will be coming up at noon tomorrow. At noon on Monday, excuse me. So for the Metal Reb, Dump, and myself, hotty toddy, Rebels.
Hotty toddy. Go to Hill LSU, and if they're the worst place, please go there.